Magandang gabi mga ka-native. We are broadcasting live dito po sa second floor R&D Building, Barangay Road, CPU Haro, Iloilo City, Philippines. The Philippine Native Chicken Channel is produced under the College of Agriculture Resources and Environmental Sciences dito po sa Central Philippine University, headed by our President Dr. Chodoroso Robles. Kasama na po yung aming Chairman of the Board, Attorney Bon Lobel Bidona. This is your host, Dr. Jaime C. Cabeles Jr. Kasama na po yung technical natin dito, si Ma'am Dana Marie Istoy Gabasa on the other side. This program is in lieu of our face-to-face extension work na kung saan po because of COVID we're limiting our exposure. Yung kung bakit that we started this live streaming po dito po sa the Philippine Native Chicken Channel para po makaserve po tayo not only in terms of the target clientele dito po sa Western Visayas kundi pati na po sa buong Pilipinas at sa ibang bahagi po ng mundo, lalo na po sa ating mga FW dyan, in various countries from where you are. Magandang gabi, magandang araw po sa inyo at keep safe po kayo dyan sa location po ninyo. Sa aming mga viewers in YouTube, pasensya ng konti because we're not able to connect on YouTube because of the connectivity. The server of YouTube will not accept our streaming device, yung bakit na hindi po kami nakapag-live sa YouTube. But rest assured that the program that we have po dito sa the Philippine Native Chicken Channel, recorded po ito para po na ma-download po natin dyan sa YouTube para makita po ninyo yung continuation of what we have discussed kahapon. Ang bilis ng panahon, September 2 na, Miyerkules. Ilang tulog na lang, Oktobre na naman. Sabi na nila, pag buwan po ng Bear, halos yung buhay ng tao ay maliwalas. Ngunit ngayon po, ang problema po natin because of the COVID that we are experiencing, plus the product of the various agricultural commodities that we are marketing or selling in the market, medyo may problema ng konti. Yung kung bakit na we don't know what will be the Christmas that is waiting on us this coming December. But in behalf of it, we know that Filipino, lalo na po sa ating mga agripreneurs, there is always hope in agriculture. Yung kung bakit that what we are doing right now is that para po na maibsan ng konti, because of this pandemic. We know that this pandemic will really change the pace of the world in terms of connectivity, in terms of various aspects. Kagandahan lang dito po is because of the COVID, we are able to do what they call the work from home orientation. So, ibig sabihin po, kahit na mag-income po kayo kalahati na lang, basta work from home, you can do more in your home. Lalo na pag paglabas mo, doon na mismo yung farm mo, or whatever. Baka mga location po ninyo, maganda ang connectivity, so you can work from home. That is why that in this segment of our presentation po, we do what they call the sequence, a series of presentation para po na kung saan no, in terms of designing of housing, no, we can consider something, no, na kung saan, no, sa paggawa po ng bahay ng manok po natin, tingnan po natin na kung saan, no, pili po natin magawa ng paraan that it is not only chicken will be housed, no, in that housing, but even other agricultural commodity na sa tingin po natin na can be of help, no, sa ginagawa natin yan sa respective areas po natin. Sa ating pang mga viewers, no, kindly write the place from where you are. At saka baka may makasamahan po kayo dyan sa tabi po ninyo. No, sulat ng pangalan para po maknalis natin po in the latter part of this program. If you have some questions, no, or queries, no, kindly write it in the comment section po para po mamaya po sagutin natin bago po tapos yung program natin. Now, this is one way and how we can interact with each other. Mas maganda kasi pag habang nagsasalita ako dito, kung may katanungan kayo, pakilagay ng katanungan nyo. Wala namang bayad yung tanong. Para at least kung mayroong doubt po dyan sa mga isip nyo, masagot po natin. At saka ito kasi ang kagandahan ng what they call the live streaming in this social media. No, even though that we could not say that di po natin makita yung mukha po natin. Pero I know na nandoon po kayo sa paligid. Lalo na po sa ating mga viewers dyan na siguro yung connectivity medyo mahina ng konti, hindi maklik direct tayong dito yung presentation yung kung bakit medyo may kabigatan. Thank you for following the Philippine Native Chicken. I know na nandoon po kayo sa kabila, nanood lang po sa amin. Thank you for the trust and confidence that you have, no, at the Philippine Native Chicken. At lalo na po dito sa may Central Philippine University. It is always the vision of this program or this space na kung saan po we can establish what they call the Philippine Native Chicken Industry. Iba kaya sa nating pag-industry ang pag-usapan. No, po, you have what they call the poultry industry, but you have what they call the broiler industry. You have what they call the layer industry, but yung Philippine Native Chicken hindi pa ganoon ka-establish to be considered as what they called as an industry, you know, under the poultry sector. Again, if you found our program informative, no, kindly share po sa makilala po nyo dyan na sa tingin po ninyo, no, we can be of help, no, lalo na po sa mga packages of technology, no, kahit kasi para po kahit paano po we can also extend information and technology to them na pwede nila magamit, no, when they are planning to establish their own Philippine Native Chicken project dito po sa Pilipinas. Ito kasi palagi ang critical when you are putting up your project, lalo na pag sa Philippine Native Chicken. Noon kasi when we started this project, sabi ko, bakit na there is what they called a prospects, no, on raising of Philippine Native Chicken. Bakit po kaunti yung nag-aalaga po ng Native Chicken? Ano bang dahilan dyan? In terms of prices, premium naman. Yun pala, when we started to raise by 1,000 starting on 2015, no, hanggang 2018 hanggang ngayon, doon ko po nakita ang the reality of raising the native chicken in commercial scale. If you're planning to raise native chicken in greater number, for example, if you have 50 heads of hen, at saka ang plano mo ay commercial scale mo, and then you're going to adopt the tawag dito yung backyard scale of production, doon na po kayo malulugi. Yung kung bakit na karamihan po hindi natuloy, di lumaki yung project because of that limitation in terms of the technology. That is why nandito po sa program natin, we are sharing these technologies para po kahit paano po, no, you can have the idea as to what to do, and at the same time po, the different risk no, na na-mention po natin anong mga previous episodes of our live stream program. Kasi kami noon when we started the project, no, ang isang limitation namin, hindi namin nakita yung various risks associated in raising native chicken in commercial scale. Yung kung bakit that if you're going to conduct a survey, sino ba talaga ang very aggressive no, when it comes to establishing the Philippine Native Chicken Project? Alam niyo kung sino? Hindi yung matagal na alaga, yung mga baguhan ang masyadong aggressive po sa pagpatayo ng project na kung saan no, engaging commercial scale of producing the Philippine Native Chicken. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi hindi pa naranasan ang malugi. That is why I keep on reminding you that do not make experiment no in your farm. Lalo na pag if you're putting your farm. Yun kasi ang pinaka mahal na bahagi. Now, the very expensive part of the technology is what they call the technology development or what they call the research and development. So hoping po na sa ngayong gabi po we can continue discussion and then have the if you have some questions no you can directly ask no dito po sa ating comment page para po na kung saan we can answer that before the program will end no along with the acknowledgement po natin no as a part of our gratitude no sa ating pong mga followers no on the Philippine Native Chicken dito po sa Facebook at saka po sa YouTube para po sa mga subscriber namin sa YouTube watching not on the real time no if you want to tawag dito if you want to have it be done na kung saan gusto nyo papanood ng live no you can search our page the Philippine Native Chicken. Kung makikita po nyo ang logo dyan sa ilalim no yan ang official logo ng Central Philippine University Philippine Native Chicken Facebook page. Para po at least we can interact na kasi ang problema namin minsan yung pag-connect namin sa YouTube. There is what they call the interference minsan na hindi kami makapasok unlike po dito sa my Facebook na kung saan mabilis na makapasok yung live stream program po namin. At saka sa ating mga viewers po dito in Iloilo City po, we're now about to establish no yung aming FM station, community-based FM station, that is what they call the CARES FM. Na kung saan po will be broadcasting naman po sa via air no via frequency modulation na kung saan po makapakinig na po kayo in the CARES FM. Without much further ado, we'll be continue discussing po yung topic natin about the housing design para po sa ating Philippine Native Chicken. Again, if you have queries and questions along with this topic, kindly write it in the comment section para po masagot po natin before the program will end. Tandaan po natin the program is only good for 1 hour but we are extending sometimes para po na masagot lahat na mga katanungan po ninyo. So kahapon po we end up discussing the ease in movement. This is one of the critical that we are sharing to you in terms of what they call the designing of your Philippine Native Chicken housing. Ito kasi ang minsan nakaligtaan ng tao. Kaya nga sabi namin is that pwede bang can we have it na kung saan maganda pakinggan yung sabihin Yung bahay na manok mo napaka high-tech, but in terms of the cost of investment that you're putting there, no, sobrang laki naman, baka matagalan pa at saka ma-recover yung investment cost natin. Yung kung bakit that we are suggesting palagi that pili bang this is what they call the practicality of putting up your project. No, otherwise kasi sabihin sa'yo na parang ganon, yung palagi yan iisip ko is that how much is the value of the prestige that you have heard, no, sa mga taong mo bisita dyan sa farm. Sabihin, anak ko, napakaganda ng bahay niya, napakaganda ng bahay ng manukan niya, napaka high-tech, naka ganito, ganyan. But tandaan natin palagi that the investment that we have po dyan, yung kung bakit that in designing by itself, no, it is not only that we are looking on the how sophisticated is our housing, but at the same time, no, the different consideration. Yung previous we discussed about in terms of the ventilation, no, of the designing, and then the ease of movement that we discussed, no, kagabi po, no. Pasensya ng konti kung medyo matagalan po tayo sa isang slide because in as much as I want na kung saan if I could give it in detail, bakit ganyan yung hitsura niya, ano bang reason behind, para at least mas kompleto yung marinig po nyo about that kind of housing design. And hoping that siguro na matapos ito pong COVID, and then we'll be going back to, not back, but we'll be entering the new normals. Now you can visit our station. Now we are now migrating our station from Leon to the Saraga Farm, CPU Saraga Farm. No, doon po sa may barangay Tuburan, Sulbod. No, mabilis na yan hanapin. No, kung magpunta po kayo sa Saraga, no, you can ask, no, yung mga driver doon, no, kung saan po yung CPU Saraga Farm. No, mabilis na matunton yung location po namin because we situated that project in Saraga Farm para po makita po ninyo the combination of the various enterprise, no, in just one farm. And we are planning to put up what they call the farm school, no, para po sa ating mga FW, weekend farmers at saka mga professionals na gusto po mag-aral ng agriculture but they're not an agriculture graduate. So this is what they call the hands-on school. So dahan-dahan muna na establish po namin dyan in Saraga Farm na to become what they call the training ground na for the entrepreneurial minds, no, or to those who would like to engage in agribusiness. No. So aside from the ease of movement, no, we go down into another slide. No. We are using always is what they call the cost versus the useful life years. Yun palagi ang isa sa consideration natin, no, because when we are starting our project, ang palaging iniisip natin is that how we can save. No, yan pag ang pera po natin medyo higpit ng sinturon natin. But for those na medyo malaki pang savings, walang problema yan. But in this aspect po of the housing, na kung saan po cost versus useful life years. Now, when we put up, kaya lang sabi ko that in the upper right picture that you have, no, kung nakaharap pa kayo sa monitor po ninyo, yung sa taas, no, that is what they call the first housing that we develop. No, again, mura yung pagtayo niyan, but ang nagiging problema namin dyan is in terms of what they call the longevity of that kind of housing. Bakit po hindi sa matagalan pag hindi mo na-treat ng pangontra sa anay? No? But be mindful that that kind of housing is really intended only for the breeder stocks. Ibig sabihin po, alanganin niya na design na gamitin po ninyo on the grower native chicken and for the chicks. Tandaan na po natin, para lang pang breeding yan. And it is provided with what they call the ranging yard. Kung makikita po niyo yung paligid ng housing na yan sa likod ng banda, because in the front view niyan, doon po yung daanan ng tao namin para po na magbigay ng mapatoka at saka maglinis ng patubigan nila. On the back portion, kung makikita nyo halos yung mga damo dyan, no, maubos na. No? Actually, the number of chicken in that housing is only 16, comprises of 14 hens and 2 roosters divided into 2 pen. Yung dimension ng housing is 4x8, no, to review. No? Ang isang consideration mo is that if you're going to adopt this kind of housing, and then looking on the longevity niya, especially to those who are preparing for what they call the feasibility study. No? Ang ganitong housing is that yung pinakamataas na useful life years niyan is only 5 years. Ganun. But the cost involved, no, in the in terms of what they call the repair and maintenance every year po, sobrang taas. Bakit? We are using what they call the bamboo pool, no, as the post. And then walang problema po yung net niyan. Ang net niyan, it can survive even up to more than 5 years. As long na hindi lang siya mapunit, no, lalo na pag may mga aso sa paligid nyo na gusto pumasok sa loob, ayan, delikado yan. And then baka yung ahas na lumalakad, delikado din. But kung ang ahas na magapang, walang problema. Dapat na i-treat nyo muna yung paligid ng housing po ninyo, no, before putting up this kind of housing. Ito po kasi pag ang intention nyo is that na you want to raise the native chicken, na sa tingin nyo medyo malawak yung lugar nyo, pwede nyo magamit yan. Kaya sabi ko that isang consideration nyo lang is in terms of the cost of the repair and maintenance. Medyo mataas. Except kung ang gawin po natin is that yung poste niya, if you're going to have it be changed, no, using what they call the 3/4, no, na GI pipes, no, yung taas siguro is about mga 10 feet, no, from the ground, no, pwede po niya magamit, and then it will be connected, no, sa taas using what they call the tension wire, no, kahit sa ilalim, no, you can use what they call the tension wire at dyan nyo itali, no, o itahi yung ang inyong aquanet, no, para mas matibay. Yan ang isa sa consideration natin if you really want to adopt this kind of housing. No? Kaya lang, as I have mentioned, no, na itong housing na to, na it really cost, you can do modification as I have suggested. Ang isa lang dapat tandaan natin na yung itlog dyan dapat kunin nyo araw-araw, ha. Kasi ang isa sa problema po natin, hindi pwede dyan na magpa-natural brood. No, pwede din na mag-natural brood kayo dyan. Ang problema po natin, ang natural incubation kasi, yung isang manok nyo, it can only lay about mga 50 to 60 eggs per year. Samantala, pag artificial incubation kayo, yung isang inahin, aabot yan na hanggang 120 eggs, no, per year. Ibig sabihin, no, approximately about 12 eggs per month. Kasi yung manok kasi, meron 2 buwan yan sa isang taon na nagmamolting siya, no, papalit ng balahibo. So, yan ang isa sa consideration natin. And then, yung nasa ilalim naman, no, is what they called yung sa ilalim ng on the with the cursor, no, that is the housing naman na kung saan we provided what they called the ranging yard. Yung kung bakit na sinasabi ko palagi that the cost, no, involved, actually kung i-total po ninyo lahat niyan, the cost in terms of the putting up of the fences, saka repair at maintenance, then putting up, no, the other housing on the left side, yung malalaki po, halos mas mura ang kahinatnan, no, compared than the 2 housing on the right side. Yung kung bakit that we are suggesting palagi na itong design na to, cost wise And then in terms of the useful life years po, medyo may katagalan siya. No, actually the specification of that is that the yung plastic sa taas, that is what they call the UV plastic, we are using what they call the 200 microns no UV plastic na diyan nilagayan as the bubong. So ibig sabihin basta ingatan lang po ninyo na wala pong hindi po yan malapit sa mga kahoy. Kasi pag may mga kahoy at saka mahulog yung kahoy doon sa bubong ninyo, punit ang plastic. Kaya nga sabi namin is that yung kung bakit makita nyo sa likod, instead of planting trees, no, ang nilagay po namin is puno ng saging. Kasi pag saging kasi kahit na matumba yan ang hangin na walang problema, no, hindi ganoon katigas yung yung strength niya compared than the trees, at saka nagbibigay po yan ng lilim. So yung kung bakit that in terms of designing palagi ng housing na practicality, minsan sabihin natin that baka naman Dok, mahal yung housing on the left side, no? Na sinasabi nyo that you are recommending to those who would like to raise native chicken. Mga sir at saka mga ma'am, if you are going to account all the cost, yung kung bakit na pinapakita namin dito sa bandang kanan po ninyo, yung dalawang housing na yan, because we really computed how much the cost involved in putting up and in maintaining such kind of housing. Mahirap kasi na sabi-sabi lang na wala po tayong pruweba, no, kung ano ang nangyayari. With the design that we have, no, dyan sa may bandang kanan po ninyo, no, bandang kanan nyo, monitoring wise, mahirapan ka. At saka in terms of feed consumption, sobrang mahal. Bakit? As the chicken, no, yung manok dyan, habang gumagala yan, habang lumalawak ang ginagalaan yan, nagiging problema nyo, you need the chicken need also supplementation to meet the requirement, no, yung energy requirement niya for the day. Yung kung bakit na mataas yung feed consumption, actually we're using then the 100 grams per day per stocks sa kanyang lugar na yan. But if you are going to account, no, na kung saan po mabigyan ng talagang requirement ng manok, you need to give about mga 120 grams, no, of feeds, no, bawat isa niyan. And speaking that the productivity of native chicken in terms of the egg production, hindi sa ganon kataas compared than the layers. Tandaan po natin the native chicken that we have hindi isa pinili para mangitlog ng marami. Hindi din siya pinili para na mabilis lumaki. Natural na siya. So ibig sabihin that it will grow naturally and it will perform naturally based on the genetic that this chicken have. We are not competing with the broiler. We are not competing with the layers. Yung kung bakit that if you want na kung saan, na talaga bang, yung kasi ang goal ng tao, if you are raising native chicken, at saka ang goal mo to have a layer native chicken, alam nyo kung magkano ang production cost ng isang itlog? Aabot yan ng hanggang 15 pesos per egg. Ibininta mo ng 10 piso, lugi ka. Yung kung bakit that if your target to raise poultry is for egg production, I may suggest ang alagaan nyo lang yung white leghorn or brown leghorn para matlaki marami mangitlog. Kung ang gusto nyo naman mabilis lumaki yung manok, para mas kaunti ang araw na pag-alaga mo, you raise what they call the broilers. Ang foreign native chicken naman, those are what they call the colored broilers. Kaya lang ang pag-develop sa kanya, that is what they call a dual purpose. Para po sa karne at saka para po sa itlog. Yung kung bakit na pag nangitlog yung mga colored broilers na yan, no, mararami sila mga itlog. Ang problema po natin if we're going to use, no, yung mga succeeding generation niya, the fertility and hatchability pang itlog masyadong mababa. It is because of the hybridization or the combination of the two genetic lines. Yung isang malakas, marami mga itlog at mabilis malaki, kinumbine nila yung kung bakit na after few generation, there is what they call desegregation. But for the native chicken that we have, no, we can make some modification, but we are raising native chicken not because of na malaki, mabilis malaki, marami mga itlog, but we are raising native chicken because of what they call the functional values and the distinctive taste associated with that kind of chicken. No, yung kung bakit naialagaan po natin. No, iba kasi, and then the market of the native chicken is different, no, from the market of the commercial breeds. Ang nagiging problema lang natin in terms of the marketing is that because the raisers all throughout the country hindi sa ganun ka-organize. No, ka-organize. And in terms of the technology development po, ilang institution lang ang nag-work in terms of the development of technology pertaining to the commercial production of Philippine native chicken. Ang karamihan pa kasi na mga R&D areas used to focus in terms of the backyard. Na kasi sabi nila na parang naka-imposible po na will be raising native chicken in commercial scale with that kind of performance na that this chicken exemplify. That is why that at Central Philippine University, even though of those negative connotation associated with the Philippine native chicken, we keep on banking developing technology on the commercial production of Philippine native chicken. Actually, in terms of the production technology, nandyan na, but we are now working in terms of the inputs and marketing aspect para po halos makumpito na siya. The possibility of raising native chicken in commercial scale, nandoon na yan, given na yan. Ang ating lang dapat ito na patibayan is in terms of the inputs, no, because if I'm going to sell the product, the native chicken product, no, yung palaging hinahanap na mga tao is that they want to purchase native chicken not because na in terms of size, no, not because of the size, but they are raising native chicken because of the distinctive taste niya. Kung maalala po natin sa mga siguro sa mga edad na halos na magkasing edad kami. Kung maalala po ninyo yung mga ninuno natin noon, no, lalo na pag yung mag-asawa na pag yung asawa, yung babaeng asawa ng anak at saka yung gatas po mahina tumulo doon sa didi ng asawa niya, ang palaging kinakatay niyan is what they call yung inahin na naglilimlim. Sinasamahan niya ng tawag dito ng papaya o kapayas at saka yung dahon ng siling labuyo. Ang target kasi niyan, pinapahigop yun sa asawa, sa misis niya, kung sa babaeng bagong panganak, ang sabaw. Bakit po? Ang manok po, when it started to naturally incubate, the broodiness ng manok po, it is associated with a certain hormone. Now, ang tawag doon is what they call the prolactin. Yung kung bakit na pag yung babae po na nanganak, bagong panganak, mahina, tumulo yung gatas niya, ang pinapakain yan is nalimlim na manok. That is what they call the prolactin. However, because of the genetic selection, hanggang lumabas yung layer chicken, ang hormone na ang hormone na prolactin halos nawawala na yan, no, because of what they call the genetic modification. But that kind of hormone is still available among Philippine native chicken. What is the implication of what I am saying here? Is that na yung functional values, siguro mas masakit at saka mas mahal pag yung mga asawa nyo, yung mga misis nyo, o sa babae na bagong panganak, naturukan po kayo ng oxytocin. Di ba? Mas mahal yan. Saan kaya masarap? Yung panok na glilimlim na ginawang sinawawang manok na kung saan may papaya na at saka may kasama pang dahon ng siring labuyo at saka may salay. Napakasarap yan. Parang ginutom na ata ako. And that is what they call the functional values associated with the native chicken. Yun kasi ang marketing advantage niyan. That is why that even in the designing of housing that we have po dito sa may Central Philippine University, yung housing design na namin yan, talaga hindi namin kinalamutan that the native chicken should perform their natural behavior. Ano po ang natural behavior niya? No, yung magtakbo-takbo diyan, na at saka they could mate naturally, na they can scratch, na those are what they call the critical na mga behavior nila. Pwede silang na makapaghapon o they can roast in the night na sa housing at saka protected sila, no? Ayun ang mga consideration na kung saan po even under the organic agriculture there is what they call the concern there is that natural behavior protected at saka they have what they call the natural access to daylight. Yung kung bakit ng housing yan talaga is developed namin based on that characteristic. Baka isipin nyo that we only design it for the sake of what they call the parang pagandahan lang. Hindi. That design talaga is intended talaga to meet those requirements. As I've mentioned in the previous presentation, na kung saan if you're going to have it in the prairie range, sobrang taas ng mortality niyan, if on the range, lalo na pag medyo matagalan doon sa isang area. Yung kung bakit na pag-alaga ka ng manok on prairie range, pwede bang ilipat-lipat, papalit-palit nyo, o ilipat nyo yung mga lugar na ginagalaan nila na hindi sila doon magstay for a year. Kasi pag stay doon, mikrobyo nandoon yan. That is why that inside the housing, now we are putting what they call the litter material. Bakit po? Ang litter material na yan, na periodically na inaalis yan. So ibig sabihin, if there is a contamination na yan sa area na yan, halos mawala naman siya because that housing was kinuha po yung litter material niya. That is what they call the risal. So those are what they call the consideration, the cost. Counting all the cost in putting up your housing dito po sa may bandang kanan po ninyo, if you're going to add it totally, halos po sobrang mahal ng cost associated doon sa pag-establish niyan. Now, the next slide is that we are referring in terms of what they call the automation versus manual operation. Mahirap kasi na I keep on talking dito po yung isa sa nakita po namin is that if the problem that we have is in terms of the management, 80% of the success of raising native chicken is associated with management. Can we do it na kung saan po, can we automate the operation? Can we automate the operation? Kaya lang, again, down to cost also associated. Para pa at least mas maintindihan po natin. The picture on the right side po ninyo, yung nasa ilalim na yan, actually yung housing na yan, that is a 5x20 housing, yung sa may cursor kanina na above the manual operation. That is a 5x20 house, 5 feet by 20 feet na housing. And yung ranging area po niyan is 50 square meter. 5 by 10 meters kasi ang dimension ng ranging yard na kapaloob doon sa ang housing na yan. Yung bali yung sa panlabas yan, kung makikita po ninyo ang yung yellow na container na yan, Actually, yung yellow na container na yan, that is what they call the feeding trough, na storage for the feeding trough. That is an automated feeding trough. Ibig sabihin po, pwede mo lagay dyan ang patuka nyo. And then, with that kind of feeding trough kasi, noon when we have what they call the 1,250, no, yung housing kasi na yan, that is where we used to raise the 1,250 chickens. No? Bawat housing niyan, it used to hold siguro mga 50 heads na manok, no, and then yung inahin is about 44, no, with 6 roosters. So kung kanya kadami, ang nagiging problema namin in terms of the patoka, no, kung bigyan mo sila ng patoka, paano bigyan ng patoka na halos yung lahat makakain? That is why that we put up that kind of feeding trough na automated siya. Para at least kahit paano pag nabusog yung manok, aalis yan. At saka palit naman ang gustong tumuka. No? Alam nyo, parang ganun ang concept. But when we implement that one, baliktad pala. Kaya nga, when we did not drastically change the design, alam nyo, it operate only for about less than a year. Muntik na kaming ma-bankrupt dyan with that kind of housing design and with that kind of feeding trough. Bakit po? Ang problema pala natin sa native chicken in terms of their reaction. Pag nabusog ang manok na yan, ayaw pa rin umalis doon sa patukaan. Ang ginagawa niya, they keep on scratching and scratching. Kahit na may butas lang yan, na that is only enough na makapasok yung ulo niya. But ang problema natin, it's that it always find means na pwede mapalabas yung patuka dyan. And what happened is that yung feed wastage namin sobrang taas. And beside, yung mga matatapang lamang ang pwedeng stay dyan. Yung ang medyo belonging to the lower caste system ng manok na halos hindi na makatuka. Yung kung bakit that the operation dyan, it is the time that when we experienced out of that 1,250 hens that we have, alam nyo kung magkano ang itlog sa isang araw? Na less than 10%. Ilang piraso yan? Na less than 10%. Yun ang nagiging bunga niyan. Because yung manok kasi, yung ang pinakamatapang na kung saan dyan mismo nagstay sa patukaan, tumaba ng tumaba. Ang naging problema, pag yung manok sobrang taba, pag halos yung nasa loob ng katawan niya, kumakapal yung taba niya, ay nako, mahirapan niya mag-produce ng itlog. Pag ang manok naman sobrang payat, ang problema niya naman, ang pangitlog din. Yung kung bakit that with that kind of design of housing that we have, maganda sana because you know that one container of it it can hold about 8 kilos of feeds, and we're only giving twice a week. Nilagyan po ng patuka dyan. But the problem is that parang ganon. And then beside, ang isa pa sa kita namin, yung kung bakit I keep on talking it. Sabi daw nila, if you keep on repeating and repeating it, mas mabilis na, mas matandaan po natin lahat. Ay, nako. In terms of record keeping and monitoring, yan kamahirapan. Bakit? Sa sobrang dami ng manok sa loob, hindi mo na alam kung sino yung sobrang taba at sobrang payat. Hindi mo naman pwede pasukan araw-araw. Bakit? Pag na-stress yung manok, it would take about 2 weeks bago makarecover. Kung ganyan palagi nangyari, ano mangyari sa'yo? Yung kung bakit that kind of design of housing, it did not last. no, we try to revise it. Ayun, hanggang pumunta doon sa housing. Actually, yung housing na 8 by 4 na yan, 8 by 20 feet, no? Actually, tungalan namin yan kasi yung housing na makita nyo sa ilalim na yan, that is a 5 feet by 20 feet na housing. And based on experience that we have in the various designs that we develop, we try to combine that and we come up with that 8 by 20 feet housing and divide it into 5 pens, whereby each pen have the dimension of 4 feet and 8 feet. Halos doon na kami nag-settle because halos doon mo na makita ang gusto mo na mangyari in keeping the native chicken. The automation may not be bad. Kaya lang ang nagiging concern na namin doon is that we tried also to look on the possibility na kung saan ano ba ang pwedeng gawan ng innovation in terms of the automation na medyo makamura po tayo. Kasi if we keep on banking on the available na mga automation technique sa market, sobrang mahal kasi ng cost associated with it. Yung kung bakit that we develop our own automation technique and facilities. On the upper portion naman po, kung makita po ninyo, yung sa kanan po natin. That is a brooder house that we have. Ang ginawa po namin, there is what we call a circulating fan. At saka meron pa yung mga exhaust fan, para po yung gases inside can easily get out. And beside, ang isa kasi sa concern namin noon is in terms of what they call the electricity of generating ample heat para po sa brooding. That is especially in the brooding. We could continue using what they call the parlous brooding technique. Kung ang pinag-usapan po natin is by the thousands na, kasi kung by the thousands na, ang isang consideration natin is that the cost involved in constructing the housing for brooding, medyo malaki-laki ng konti ang gastusin po natin. Yung kung bakit, and beside, now, ang nagiging problema kasi dito kahit na sa ibang lugar is that yung rice hull, halos ng kasaganakan ng pag-aani ng palay, ang rice hull po ginagamit na as fuel for the dryer, yung kung bakit na medyo may kamahalan na yung rice hull. And then we could not also use what they call the charcoal. We have the charcoal brooder heater that is capable of giving heat to 150 to 200 day old chicks hanggang 15 days. At saka yung charcoal consumption niya naman is about 2 kilos. That is good for 10 hours operation. Ganyan kasi ang development namin dito. We tried this another housing baka sakali iba kasi if we can kasi in the response in terms of prototype may vary in the actual operation. That is why that kung makita nyo sa ilalim yung itim na yan, that is a conveyor. Ang conveyor na yan, pag it is sequenced, ibig sabihin po may timer yan na pagdating ng 1 oras, 2 oras, kusang umiikot yan. At saka doon sa pinakadulo niya may washer doon na yung dumi po ng manok na dumating doon, i-wash yan para malinis naman. Ang nagiging problema namin dyan in terms of the operation dito po is that kahit ano ang ilagay po natin dito, we can effectively conserve heat. Tama na conserve namin yung heat, and it is very effective to conserve the heat. The reduction in terms of the electricity in terms of brooding, bumaba siya hanggang it almost cut off almost 70% of the power consumption. Ganon kalaki ang reduce. However, ang isa lang sa nakita naming consideration dyan, that is what they call, kung makita po nyo is yung tunnel vent. That is what they call a modified tunnel vent for the native chicken. Ang nakita naming consideration dyan is in terms of what they call the proper ventilation. Pag hindi maganda yung labas-pasok, you cannot apply the principle of tunnel vent, no, on the native chicken. Medyo mahirapan po tayo ng konti because their genetics is different from the broiler. Even though that parehas lang manok, kaya lang problema natin, they stay longer compared than the broilers. Ang isa sa nakita namin is that, for example, if you're going to have it na naka-automate yan, palabas ang dumi, and what will happen is that yung dumi na yan na napalabas namin, then what? Ang pwedeng pupuntahan niya lang is the biogas. Kaya lang ang isa sa nakita namin consideration is that if you're going to have it in the biogas, magkano ang kita? Yung kung bakit na if we're going to try to compare yung nasa ilalim na may risal or carbonized risal with that automation, mas makakita po kami, no, mas you can take the advantage of using what they call the carbonized risal as litter material under po niyan. Kasi pag may carbonized risal niya sa ilalim niya, pag nahulog yung dumi ng manok, halos dry na yan. Why? Because the carbonized risal used to absorb the moisture coming from the excreta. No, ganon ang sitwasyon niya. And then on your left portion naman, that is what they call the housing design that we have, the 4 feet by 4 feet. And then, kung makikita po nyo, yung poste niyan is almost a GI pipe na, no, yung for the fences, at saka tension wire na ginamit namin dyan. But again, ang number of units that we used to have it is about mga 25 housing lang ang ginawa namin na parang ganon. The area, no, yung pagalaan niyan, that is a 5 meters by 5 meters, 25 meters, and it used to hold on, no, what they call the flock size namin noon for the growers, no, is about mga 20 to 25 chicken, no, ganon. Yung kung bakit na with that experience that we have, bumalik naman kami dito in terms of the 4x8 because operation wise, from breeding, brooding and growing po, that design is appropriate for your Philippine native chicken, especially if you will be raising native chicken in commercial scale. Bago pa tayo magpatuloy, would like to acknowledge po sa ating mga viewers, no, kay Sir Renzo Cornel watching in Ormoc, Leyte. Kay Sir Marcel Bonifacio watching from Cainta, Rizal. Sir Midjana Glenn, Erman Glenn Mihika watching from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Kailan uwi mo dito, Glenn? At sa aking kaklase at saka estudyante, kay Sir Wilmer Pilya, watching in Pabia, Iloilo. Sir Timmy Arandila, no, watching with the Kabas friends and classmates. No, magandang gabi po, Sir Tim, at saka sa mga kaklase mo dyan. No, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat yan. And thank you for the support, no, that you have given to the Philippine native chicken dito po sa Central Philippine University. Walang problema, Sir Glenn. Wala po tayong class roll dito. Kahit na late po rin mga absent, walang problema, Sir Glenn. And hoping na siguro, Sir Glenn, pag na-implement na yung online learning po natin on the Philippine native chicken, may check attendance na tayo, Sir Glenn, ha? Ang problema natin, Ma'am Bem, native manok, hindi pa natin ayos po because that Central Philippine University is still equipping our internet connectivity para po na mas mapaganda po ang pag-deliver ng online learning po namin dito sa CPO. Kay Kay Sir Ribs, no? Thanks for the appreciation, sir. Thank you also for giving the comment na nilagay po namin doon sa plug po namin. Thank you, sir, for the appreciation about our program, and thank you also for sharing this program among overseas Filipino worker na dyan po sa may New York, sir. Together with Sir Lial na dyan in New York. Kay Sir John Vergara watching from Saskatchewan, Canada. At saka kay Sir Bong Collado watching from Kabul, Afghanistan, at saka sa mga Collado brothers dyan sa may Mindanao area. Kay Sir Harold, grabe yung title mo kay Ma'am Dana. Happy birthday sa Phytobiotic Queen. Thank you, sir, sabi ni Ma'am Dana. Pag nagpunta ka dito, sir, para magbili po ng phytobiotics, PO, sir, may dagdag yan, sir, mula kay Ma'am Dana. Kay Sir Richard Waiso watching from Calapan City, Oriental, Mindoro. Welcome to the show po, sir, and magandang gabi po dyan sa inyo. At saka, yan talaga, Sir Harold, ang believe ko sa inyo mag-asawa. Halos magkasama pa kayo palagi ni Ma'am Wilna Hirao Canyonaso, no, watching our program together with Sel Elser, no, at saka Ma'am Cecilia Sablaon, yan sa may Mabuyong Anini Antique. No, magandang gabi po sa ating mga viewers po dito na mag-asawa na halos magkatabi po dyan manood po ng programa po natin. Thank you for the following the Philippine Native Chicken. Kay Ma'am Beams Native Manok, at least ma'am, nadala mo sa Magic, ma'am. Maaga pa kayo dito na nakasama po namin sa programa. Thank you for watching, ma'am, and God bless and keep safe dyan po sa inyo. At saka extend our regards po kay Mr. mo dyan sa may Cebu po. Hope na yung manok po natin dyan sa Cebu na maparami po ninyo because na yung demand po namin dito sa Lilo, halos pinapasa namin sa mga areas na kung saan may mga project dyan na native chicken. Ma'am Sharon Rose Loyola. Ma'am, thank you for the sticker na pinadala mo namin sa inyo. Thank you for the appreciation po, ma'am. Kay Sir John Rodriguez, no, watching from Davao. No, magandang gabi dyan po sa inyo, Sir John, at saka sa mga kasamahan mo dyan na katabi mo din sa pag-monitor dito po sa aming programa. Kay Sir Ribs, hindi problema yan, sir, ang inbreeding. Basta ang manok po natin, sir, is by the hundreds, and then randomly po ang ginagawa po natin para gawing breeders, at saka breeder stocks po natin, walang problema yan, sir, except kung medyo kaunting manok. But if ang manok po ng mga nag-aalaga dyan is less than 50, ang gawin po natin pilibang every year para po maiwasan natin yung inbreeding na sobrang mataas. Can we replace the roster? Pwede mang roster lang, ang tanda lang palitan ninyo, but try to find rosters, no, in some other nearby places na kung saan po hindi po kamag-anak ng mga manok po ninyo. Yan ang technique para po maiwasan yung inbreeding. Every year, now, if your flock size is smaller, no, pwede bang palitan natin ang tandang? Ang tandang kaunti lang. Huwag nyo palitan yung inahin. Ang palitan nyo sa inahin if that is about 2 years na ang edad niya. And kasi ang performance kasi ng native chicken after 2 years po bumaba by 20%. Yung kung bakit na pwede bang palitan, dapat i-replace po natin ang inahin natin at the same time palitan natin ang mga roosters natin, no, coming from the nearby area. Basta hindi lang kamag-anak ng manok po natin para maiwasan natin ang inbreeding. Kay Sir Ben Mark Kapadusa, watching in San Miguel, Iloilo. Good evening, Doc. I am planning to make probiotic using molasses. Any guide or recommendation on how to do it? Actually, sir, yung probiotic po natin, marami po ang tawag dito, yung makikita po nyo dyan sa may e-media, social media at saka sa internet po on how to make it. Ang isa lang, sir, pag gawa po natin ng probiotic, lalo na pag gamitin po natin sa manok, kasi ang ginagawa po ng iba, yung lactobacilli, lactobacilli para mapabilis na, sir. Ang gawin po sa lactobacilli, bili po kayo ng tawag dito ng fresh milk, o kaya gawin mo, sir, yung yogurt, i-mix mo sa fresh milk. Pwede mo magawa yan, sir. But if you're using what they call the molasses, pwede sa dagdagan mo ng konti ng yeast, yung dried yeast na ginagamit po na pangpaalsa sa tinapay. That is an industrial yeast na hindi po nagdadulot ng sakit sa manok po ninyo. Huwag po kayong gumamit ng ibang yeast na that is what they call the Saccharomyces cerevisiae yeast, na kung saan po that is industrial. Pwede nyo dagdag, sir, sa molasses nyo, sir, para mapabilis nyo ang fermentation process. Depende kasi ang fermentation. Tanda po natin na ang isa lang sa consideration natin, sir, is that ang manok kasi, lalo na pagsisiyo, yung tolerance level nila po sa mataas na sugar. Yung kung bakit pag medyo mataas ang sugar content, sometimes yung mga sisiyo po is nagtatae yan. Yung kung bakit na mga consideration natin. But you can search the internet on various means on how to develop your own probiotics. Pero kung gusto nyo mabilisan, at saka in just a matter of about a week or 2 weeks tapos na, you can add what they call the dried yeast na ginagamit pang paalsa doon sa mga ginagawang tinapay. Sir El Madrunyal, watching from Cagayan de Oro. Thank you, sir, for following our page. Eugene, good evening, Doc. My recommendation sa type of incubator, yung dual po ba? Yung separate para sa capacity na 100 eggs per week? Follow-up question, can you recommend supplier or fabricator? Speaking, sir, ng incubator, naalala ko kasi noon, na-scam kami noon, sir. Bili kami ng incubator sa labas. Problema namin, napadala na yung pera. Problema namin, yung incubator, isang taon na hindi na umabot yung incubator sa amin, sir. Yung kung bakit na selected yung binilhan namin noon hanggang na gumawa na kami ng paraan na kami na mismo, sir, ang nag-fabricate po ng incubator namin dito po sa Central Philippine University. Usually, sir, kasi sa incubator may dalawang type yan. Isa niyan is what they call the seater, na doon nyo nilagay ang itlog from 1 day hanggang 18 days, at saka yung isa ay hatcher from 19 to 22 days. Ganon, sir. If you will be having the egg about 100 egg per week, kung may balak pa kayo, sir, na dagdagan yung flock nyo, sir, dagdagan ang flock nyo, yung minimum size ng capacity po na may bigay ko sa inyo, basta may balak pa kayong dagdagan ang manok nyo. Pero kung wala, sir, never mind. Kung may balak kayong dagdagan, sir, yung minimum capacity po natin, yung maximum capacity na kung saan po mabilis natin malinisan, at saka hindi ganun kakomplikado i-operate, at saka if-ever na masira, marami pang unit na available. Habit na kung saan, sir, is 500 egg capacity. 500 egg capacity na seater. At saka samahan nyo din, sir, ng 500 capacity na hatcher din, sir. Para at least may kasabay na iba ang seater at iba yung hatcher. Yung isa doon is that, pero kung wala ka ng balak, dagdagan, sir, na 100 egg per day, per week ang manok nyo. Possibly, sir, ang kunin po ninyo is yung combination, yung seater, hatcher. Yung capacity, sir, basta, sir, walang balak magdagdag, ha. baka nagdagan yung later on, doon na sir yung cost associated, baka ang kainat na niya sir, mas mahal pa. Ang gawin nyo, you can purchase a 150 capacity na combination ng seater at hot sir. Yung seater sa taas at saka yung sa baba is the hot sir. Habit na kung saan sir, may mga almost 21 days, 4 na unit sir, na tag 150 capacity. Para ang gawin po ninyo, every week po, iba yung incubator sir, iba yung incubator seater. Kasi sir, pag ang maliliit kasi, ang technique dyan is what they call using what they call the stale air. No, yung hangin doon, hindi gumagalaw lang. Unlike in the incubator na 500 capacity, force drop ang tawag doon sir, na pinapirasa yung hangin na mainit na mag-ikot sa loob. Basta kung 100, basta wala na kayong balak dagdagan, di 150 capacity sir, okay na yan sir, mga 4 na unit para pag every week iba ang lagyan nyo. At the same time po, there is still an ample time para po na malinisan nyo, ma-disinfect ang isang incubator bago pa ninyo i-load ulit yung itlog. In terms of fabricator naman sir, na sa tingin po ninyo, para makasiguro kayo sir ha, dito po i-search po ninyo si Sir Alan Habaw. Na si Sir Alan Habaw is one of my student po dito sa may Central Philippine University na sa Philippine Native Chicken. The design that he had, actually pinag-usapan namin yan, that he could na hindi ganun kakomplikado i-operate sir. Para if ever sir, kahit na ipadala mo yung pera mo sa kanya para sa paggawa ng incubator mo sir, I will assure you na para ako nang bahala mag-contact sa kanya kung kailan niya padala dyan sa inyo yung incubator po ninyo sir. Hope that na sagot ko sir yung tanong ha. Tandaan po natin, basta wala kayong balak na nagdagan ang plug size ninyo, habit na 150 capacity, combination seater and hot sir. Pag may balak pa kayong dagdagan, ang maximum capacity ng incubator na kunin po ninyo is the 500 capacity para at least you still have the ample room. Basta separate pag dati sa 500 capacity sir, iba yung seater, iba din ang hot sir, para na maiwasan po natin. Iba kasi ang requirement ng temperature ng seater. Ang humidity pala, the requirement in terms of the temperature halos magkapareho niyan at the average of 37.5 to 37.8. Ang isa lang sa humidity is that the humidity for the seater nandiyan yan sa mga 50 to 52%. Samantala naman in the hot sir, 60 to 62% yung humidity niya. Kasi pag sobrang basa naman ang sisyo nyo, ang delikado naman yan, mabilis yan pasukan ng infection, lalo na pag wet nabel yung manok. So yun sir, habit bidan. Sir Harold, kung native yan sir at saka para bang may problema na Doc, ano ang sakit na manok ko around 2 months old, di na makatayo pero malakas naman kumain, parang isang paa niya di niya makontrol ng maayos, ano ang problema Doc? Actually Sir Harold, baka yung manok mo, tingnan mo baka napila yung manok mo na hindi mo alam sir. Yan ang isa sa consideration natin. Check mo muna sir kung napilay ba o wala. Pag hindi yan napilay sir, at saka yung isang paa niya lang ang hindi niya maayos, noon sir na nasa incubator pa yan sir, baka ang problema po natin ang incubator, baka sisyo pa lang siya, naka-experience ng Ryleg. Ang Ryleg sir, na problema mo sir, yung paa niya isa o dalawa, hindi ganon in the proper conformation sir, paglabas doon sa itlog. At saka it is because na incubator po, yung hatcher po natin, yung hatching tray nyo medyo madulas. Yung kung bakit na nag-experience ng Ryleg, o di kaya yung hatcher po natin sobrang init sir. There might be some infection sir, but kung isa lang siya sir, it might, kasi kung marami sir, baka sabihin natin na kakulangan sa calcium o di kaya phosphorus. Pero kung nag-iisa lang siya sir, i-check nyo sir, baka ang problema pa natin isang doon sa during the hatching period niya. Kung marami, ibig sabihin baka in terms of nutritional and in terms of infection. Pero kung nag-iisa lang sir, baka physical disability lang po sir. Kay Jing Udips dyan sa may Davao at saka sa Udips Native Chicken Farm na magandang gabi po sa inyo dyan. Kay Sir Mario Kiatson magandang gabi din sa inyo sir dyan sa may Santo Tomas, Batangas. No, kay Beams watching from Hong Kong, Doc, mayroon pa ba na bang schedule ng webinar po ninyo? Ma'am, hindi pa ma'am. Problema ko kasi ma'am, ang connectivity ma'am. Sayang kasi pag mag-conduct po tayo ng seminar na ang connectivity coming from us dito po sa CPU, hindi ganun kaganda ma'am. Sayang na paputol-putol yung signal natin. That is why na pinapastabli muna namin yung signal bago po tayo mag-conduct ng webinar at saka online learning po. Mas maganda kung ang connectivity po natin is maganda para po na habang pagpasok po ng signal namin dyan sa inyo, halos walang problema po. I know that in the areas outside the Philippines, no, yung signal dyan hindi problema siguro. But ang problema natin in some other part of the country, dito po sa Pilipinas, baka yung signal hindi maganda. Diyan po tayo. Sayang kasi na paputol-putol yung signal. In terms of the platform that we'll be using in terms of the online learning, ready na po kami. In terms of the software para po sa webinar po, ready na po kami. Connectivity na lang po ang inaayos po namin dito, no, within the building that we have and within the CPU itself. We'll inform Ma'am Bim, we'll keep you posted on the page at saka sa iba po nating mga followers na when will be the webinar and then the online learning po. Meron po tayong ginagawa na online learning na kung saan po that is a personalized online learning that is in lieu of what they call the personalized learning face-to-face that we have. And then once na matapos na po to, and then matapos, in terms na magpasok na tayo sa new normal, and then yung logistic natin at saka yung movement natin, na hindi na ganon kahirap po, we can do what they call the on-the-job train dito mismo sa CPU. No, right now, we're equipping the Saraga farm para po sa inyo. Iba kasi ang learning process na may hands-on than we keep on talking and talking. At saka iba naman kasi ang learning process na masubaybayan po natin yung mga project nyo. So that is why that for those na gusto pa mag-alaga ng manok and then hindi pa nakapag-start, we'll be offering the online learning po. Yung pace, yung tagal po ng learning na yan po, it will depend on us on the process na kung saan po sabay po tayo para po na pag-establish nyo, we can guide you on the process. Now, for example, pagpatayo ng mga bahay, para mag-guide po namin kayo before na matayo yung bahay hanggang napapalaki yung manok nyo. Now, we can do what they call the face-to-face, the webinar also on that platform that we can discuss something about the activity that you have in your farm. Iba kasi ang process if there is what they call a guided interaction when you put up your Philippine Native Chicken Farm. So, hindi na problema. Unlike doon sa time pa ni Sir Lester Olpindo, na kung saan napunta sa talaga dito sa CBO, but with this kind of distance learning that we can offer, na walang problema, we can have the online learning. Basta importante, you have the farm and then you're about to establish or you really establish yung farm nyo para po magadan po namin kayo along the way. Kay Sir Japet, dyan sa may Kabadbaran, Agusan del Norte. Magandang gabi po sa inyo, Sir Japet. Kay Sir Ryan Baruna, dyan sa may Davao City. At saka kay Denmark Studios of Mirasol, also watching right now. Kay Sir Pidik GR Satana, watching from San Joaquin, Iloilo. Kay Nong Hieronimo, Imong Laguna, watching the MAPSI chairman of the Dueñas, Iloilo. Na magandang gabi dyan sa inyo, Nong Imong. At saka kay Sir Norbert Bacaro, dyan sa may Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Chakoy Gripo Goltia na watching in Davao, na magandang magandang gabi po sa inyo, sir. Walang problema, sir. Naka-roll call na kayo dito. Check attendance na po si Ma'am Dana. Sir Timer Dila, Dean Cabarles, what is your suggestion for those PIDP beneficiaries in native chicken raising, which invested their precious money on bank-owned tourism, but which were affected by COVID pandemic? Thank you in advance. Yung kung bakit sabi ko, Sir Tem, actually ngayon po, hindi lang sila naka-experience, but almost all the raisers of native chicken raising in commercial scale, halos affected na po, sir. No, halos yung iba nga naka-loan na sa bangko, ang problema pong operation is affected by this kind of pandemic. That is why that siguro sa mga nag-alaga po ng manok dyan, na kung saan po really invested, yung kung bakit sabi ko noon, pwede bang bawas-bawasan natin ng konti? At saka pwede bang i-rearrange natin yung operation natin para pag natapos sa to pandemic, halos we can do something na maayos natin before the pandemic, before this COVID-19 end. Para po at least pag nagbalik na yung market, no, halos naka-in place na po yung mga manok natin. Ang isa lang palagi sa consideration, Sir Tim, is that the marketing palagi. Yun ang isa sa consideration namin, that because pag hindi pa tayo masipag maghanap po ng market natin, yan ang pinakamalaking consideration. That is why at CPU po, kahit dito po sa atin sa CPU, no, every Monday po talaga nag-iikot kami para po nagbinta ng manok and finding the right market where it should be. Yung kung bakit na if you are selling native chicken, pwede bang ang pinakamalakas yung market is not in the wet market. It's not in the wet market. We tried that one. Na yung pinakamalakas yung market, possibly, no, nandoon yan sa mga subdivisions, sa mga subdivisions, and possibly you can have it be done also. Na kung aside from the newly dressed one, no, if we can, kaya nga sabi ko sa team kay Sir Mario Kiatson, dyan sa Batangas, pag yung area po natin is malapit po sa highway, at saka tingnan yung traffic, pag sinabi natin traffic, no, ilang bang sasakyan na private ang dumadaan, para po na you can have what they call to prepare what they call the take-out counter. Na uso na kasi ngayon yan during the pandemic, and I know that the take-out counter na yan, it will be applicable even after the pandemic, Sir Tim. Yung kung bakit na para po sa galaga po ng manok, na ngayon po naka-experience ng pandemic, don't worry, we are on your side. We are on your side. Pwede bang bawas-bawasan natin ng konti ang manok at saka i-realign po natin ang operation natin. That is why that we are now conducting a series of lectures dito para pa makatulong sa inyo kung anong dapat nyo gawin along the way. Kay Vincent CD Joaquin also watching right now. Sir Felix Sardinico, no, also watching right now. Magandang gabi po sa inyo, Sir Felix. Kamusta yung transaction mo kay Ma'am Dana, Sir Felix? May nandito ata, Sir Felix, kaunti lang, but try to contact Ma'am Dana. Baka para at least makupapan nyo na konti yung requirement po ninyo sa project po ninyo. Kay Sir Japet, ganyan talaga, Sir Japet, yung kung bakit na marami na ang na-ban namin at saka na tawag dito na delete namin comment dito sa page natin, but wala tayong magawa, Sir Japet. Ganyan talaga yung spam na palit-palit yung pangalan nila that we could not control easily dito po sa my page. But thank you for the concern po, sir. Newbie Gloria Gabriel, Doc Jaime, what you recommend for newbie to raise the native chicken to start with the old chicks, hardened chicks, along with the breeder stocks? Watching here in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, no, from Capiz. Actually, ma'am, kung newbie po kayo, ma'am, ang isa po na palagi kong sinasabi, either way po, chicks, hardened chicks, at saka breeder stocks, pwede nyo pa umpisaan, ma'am. Ang unahin po ninyo palagi, ma'am, is the learning process na nandyan sa inyo, ma'am. Ang importante, ma'am, yung kaalaman po natin, kompleto bago po tayo mag-start in raising native chicken. Every time na palagi sabi ko, pwede bang dahan-dahan mo na, wag nyong biglain. Na pag sa tingin niyo ma'am, in terms of the experience that you have, medyo, in terms of learning pala, na medyo gano'n na po ka-equip kayo ma'am, kahit sisiw, pwede nyo umpisan para makamura po kayo. Kung gusto nyo hard and 6 para po at least kaunti ang mortality nyo, o di kaya para direkta na lang bidder stocks para at least may pagkukunan kayo ng sisiw. Either way po, pili nyo gawin ma'am, it depends. Basta palagi ma'am, i-equip nyo muna ma'am ang sarili nyo about the technology that you are going to adopt and the location wise. Yung kung bakit ma'am, you can review the live streaming shows that we have previously. Hindi naman namin didelete kasi yan ma'am. Try to review yung topic namin ma'am about identifying, managing, and controlling risk. Para ma'am, at least you have the idea kung ano ba talaga ang risk associated when you are raising the Philippine native chicken. Para doon ka na kayo ma'am mag-umpisa and then dahan-dahan na to equip yourself about the various technology that you are going to adopt now on raising the native chicken. And if ever ma'am na pag nag-raise na po kayo dyan sa Capiz, pag uwi nyo dito ma'am, don't worry, nandito pa yung Philippine native chicken. We are always helping the raisers all throughout the Philippines ma'am. If you have some queries, we would like to big some hingi po kami ng pasensya ng konti pag nag-message po kayo sa may inbox namin, pag hindi namin masagot ni Ma'am Danayan, na mas maganda kasi kung ang tanong po ninyo dito mismo sa live streaming natin para po mas mapalo-up pa nyo ang tanong nyo at at the same time I can give you a concise answer para doon sa mga katanungan po ninyo. And then for our viewers not on the real time, if you have some questions, seldom kasi namin na-review yung aming kung makita namin minsan yan, okay, but if possible po, if you can find time po na maka-join po sa live streaming program namin, please do, para po na kung saan masagot ko yung mga katanungan po ninyo when it comes po sa pag-alaga ng manok in commercial scale. Is Tuwista. Hello Doc, good evening. Tanong ko po Doc kung yung mga ibon na lumilipad at tumadapo sa ating farm, mayroon po bang possibility na maging carrier sila ng disease at mag-transfer sa ating mga alagang manok? Actually sir, yung ibon kasi, lalo na pa yung tag namin dito is Maya Capra. They are not only serving as a carrier of infection, but pati yung nagko-compete kasi sa patoka ng manok mo sir, yun ang isa sa mga consideration natin sa mga ibon na yan. Kaya nga if possible po yung sa housing natin, lagyan natin ng net ng konti para hindi sa makapasok sir. That is one way on how we can protect our native chicken sa loob po. Yun ang ginagawa namin dito sa CPO. Bawal din naman kasi that is kailangan din natin ng ibon because they are responsible for spreading the seeds of trees, and they're also responsible for controlling some of the insects na kung saan po kumakain ng mga crops po natin. So one way on how we can prevent them from entering our premises, possible po have a net around. Yung kung bakit yung housing namin po may mga net yan sir, para po na ma-control po namin ang pagpasok po ng mga ibon na yan within the housing of our Philippine native chicken. But they will not be trapped ng net na yan. That is also just to protect sa manok na sa loob. Yung mga paa nila kasi sir, kung saan dumadapo yan sir, na kung saan po baka sa kalimitan palagi sir is that in terms of the internal parasite, yung mga bulate. Kahit na sabihin natin yung manok mo elevated, bakit may mabulate pa rin? It is because na kung saan, pag yung mga ibon na yan, dumapo yan sa patukaan mo, and then hindi mo alam kung saan ang galing yan, at baka yung mga paa niya, may mga itlog dyan ng internal parasite o bulate, at saka dumapo doon sa patuka, at saka yung itlog na hulog doon, yung kung bakit na may mga infection pertinent in terms of the internal parasite. even some infection kasi sir, yung ko bakit. But ang masuggest ko lang sir is that possibly sir na lagyan pa natin ng net ang housing pa ng manok natin para safety yung manok sa loob. It depends na po sa inyo kung paano nyo i-redesign. Actually, kung makita po yung housing na manok namin na 4x8, halos ang paligid niyan sir puno ng aquanet, no, because that is one way on how to prevent na makapasok mismo sa loob, no, yung mga ibon na yan sir. At saka kay Budsuro watching from Gimbal, Iloilo. Kay Real Piero Digoles na watching in Davao. Sir, maganda, Katagom City. No, sir, kamusta na po ang native chicken natin yan, sir? Kay Sir Romolog Yanan, no, good evening, Doc. Watching from Metropolis. My farm is in Guimaras. Kamusta, sir, yung manukan po natin, sir? Okay lang po ba? Kamusta po yung epekto po ng CPU feeds po sa mga manok po ninyo, sir? Kay Sir Ben Mark Capadusa, walang problema, sir. You are always welcome po, sir. Kay Ma'am Bims, at least ma'am, patuloy na madadami yan ma'am, with proper care kasi iba kasi ma'am mag-alaga ang may-ari compared than entrusting that to our farm health po ma'am. As long nandyan po si Mr. nyo ma'am, alam ko dadami at dadami yung manok po ninyo ma'am. With tender loving and care yan ma'am. Kay Sir Harold John Cañonazo. Thanks, Doc. Isa lang, sir. Out of 20 lang, sir, ang may problema. Na-isolate ko na, Doc, for close monitoring. Ano, Sir Harold? May COVID-19 yung manok mo na naka-isolate na. Siguro, sir, kung nag-iisa lang yun, sir, it is because of what I call the physical disability, sir. Maawa po naman kayo sa manok nyo. As long na walang infection, walang COVID-19, sir, in-isolate mo talaga, ha? Cyrus Arabijo, no, watching in Australia. At saka kay Nong Mauro Sumudyo dyan sa may Australia, no, na nagbunito din sa amin ito. Thank you, Nong Mau, for being with us. At saka kay Sir Cyrus na Arabijo, no, dyan sa may Australia. Kay Sir Tim Arandila, walang problema, Sir Tim, as long as makatulong po tayo, no, it is our pleasure to help po. Ang matulungan po natin ang lahat na mga raisers po ng Philippine native chicken, no, dito po sa ating lugar, no, in the Philippines, and not only the Philippines but even to other countries, no, having the same condition in the Philippines po. So, mga wala na katanungan. So, again, we'd like to encourage all our viewers na if you have time, no, lalo na po sa not real time, na viewers, if you can find time, no, be with us, no, in the live streaming that we have. And we are encouraging all our viewers, no, na magtanong po para po at least masagot po natin, no, especially yung matanong po natin sa mga newbies po natin, no, para po na kung saan bago po kayo magpatayo ng project po ninyo, mag-guidean po namin kayo, no, along the way po. That is always our goal, no, to help the Philippine native chicken industry to scientific innovation. And we are very positive that we can put up this Philippine native chicken industry in the days to come. No? At saka kay Sir Real Piero Digoles, okay lang po, Doc, salamat alaala, na dahan-dahan lang. Walang problema, sir, para sa at least yung mga manok po na dyan, kung may tulong po kami dito sa Central Philippine University, no, you can tune in po dito sa programa natin para pag may katanungan kayo, sir, no, we can answer it directly po dito sa live streaming natin. Ma'am Nubi, walang problema, ma'am. it is our pleasure to help po sa inyo sa pag-alaga po ninyo ng manok po. So again, in behalf of our President, Dr. Choroso Robles, kami po taos puso po nagpapasalamat po for the trust and confidence that you have given to the Philippine Native Chicken Channel dito po sa Central Philippine University. And together with my technical partner, Ma'am Dana Marie Estoy Gabasa po. This is your host, Dr. Jaime Sigabales Jr. Again, thank you for watching us and see you po bukas naman at around 8 p.m. Again, magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat, magandang araw, keep safe and God bless us always.